is the 2019 Pac-12 champion. The 2020 Rose Bowl champion.
Richardson, another open three. Good! Duarte dribbles and slams with the right hand. For the third time in the last 5 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions. Outright champs.
Bowley three. Good! Bowley ball. Out Shelley. Three ball. Good! Regular season champions and now Pac-12 tournament champions.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
We're just getting started.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you, and welcome inside the Country Financial Studio for another edition of Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. A very busy show today. And I mean, like, really, really stacked. Kelly Graves, head coach, Oregon women's basketball, will be with us. We also are going to talk to a pro Duck in Cole Irvin. That's right. Cole Irvin from the Philadelphia Phillies is going to join us in just a little while. And the latest is, well, we're all kind of waiting to see what happens with the NCAA's big meeting today. There's a big meeting going on with the Board of Governors, and we'll find out, I think, a lot of information on the future of what the fall is going to look like and just the way that things are trending. And I think that that's going to be a obviously big piece of news, and we'll talk about that more on the show tomorrow as everybody is still trying to adjust to life with the pandemic and COVID-19 and how it's completely changed the sporting landscape. We'll break a lot of that down on the show over the next hour today. Also, Kelly Graves had a little bit of fun last night. We have that for you. Really, let's just say that Kelly Graves, I think, was living his best life last night. Many of you probably know that Coach Graves is a really big baseball fan. I think if he wasn't a basketball coach, he would probably be a baseball coach in some way, shape, or form. So Coach Graves is going to be with us in just a little while, and I want to talk to him a little bit about that because he got to throw out the first pitch virtually and socially distanced for the Mariners game last night, actually. Which is pretty darn cool, really, if you think about it. I mean, isn't that a heck of an honor? Like, that's just a cool thing, getting to throw out a first pitch like that, a ceremonial first pitch. So we have that for you. Also, the product schedule today, it's kind of a big one. If you subscribe to the WNBA League Pass, which is actually a real steal, by the way. It's only $16 for the entire season. Any game that isn't on TV, you can then go to the stream, and we've got some Pro Ducks in action today. 3 o'clock, so if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, it'll be a couple hours from now. If you're listening on one of our Oregon Sports Network affiliate stations later in the day, then game might have already happened. 3 o'clock, it's Duck versus Duck today because the Dallas Wings with Satu Sabally and the Chicago Sky with Ruthie Hebard play in the WNBA. So a few things. One, Coach Graves is going to be stoked, right? Like, this has got to just be so much fun for him. We're going to talk to him about that. Even with Sabrina Ionescu getting hurt out indefinitely with that ankle sprain for New York, that's still instant impact for these three pro Ducks in the WNBA. We're going to talk about that. Also of news with Coach Graves, Taylor Mikesell eligible for next season. We're going to learn a little bit about the roster and really what the Ducks are able to do. You've seen Coach Graves post some of the videos of the socially distanced workouts and practices and what they're able to do. We're going to talk to him a little bit about that. Elsewhere, though, on the Pro Duck schedule for today, the Giants, maybe with Tyler Anderson against his former team in the Rockies at 5:40. The Rangers and Scott Heineman will play the A's tonight as well. A lot of Pro Ducks. And really, when we talk to Cole Irvin later in the show today, this is kind of the beginning, if you will, of the, I guess we'll call it just our Pro Ducks interviews, our Pro Ducks segments. This is kind of the first one that we're going to do. We might be able to connect with Satu Sabally tomorrow. We're talking about being able to do that if we can coordinate with her schedule. But we're going to do a lot of these on the show because one of the things with football starting a little bit later, like if this was a normal year, right, football would actually be starting right about now. Football would be rolling in fall camp. But instead, fall camp's going to start in about 2 weeks now with the revised plan with a 10-game conference schedule and everything that we broke down yesterday. We'll talk a little bit more about the schedule coming up. But with it being pushed back a little bit, that's actually given us some time on Duck Insider to do things like these Pro Ducks interviews. And I'm really looking forward to it because one of the things that I appreciate about the Ducks is the way that they stay connected to alums. And I think in this case, we're going to really like that for this show's purposes, and that's me being a little bit selfish. But we actually get to talk with a lot of these former Ducks and the Pro Ducks, which is going to be pretty cool. So Cole Irvin will be our first one. Might be able to connect with Scott Heineman, David Peterson. David Peterson made his MLB debut. One of the things that I'm actually really curious about with Petey, and I hope to be able to ask him this on the show, is, with the pandemic, there's no fans, so they're pumping in crowd noise. I'll talk to Cole a little bit about this later on the show, too, now I'm thinking about it. Since they're pumping in the crowd noise, it's kind of a little bit odd, right? So if you're David Peterson making your MLB debut, normally maybe the fans make you a little nervous, right? If the fans make you a little bit nervous, well, there aren't any fans now. So I'm wondering if the nerves were more or less for David Peterson when he made that Major League debut. I don't know the answer to that question. So we're going to talk about that coming up on the show today. Elsewhere on the show tomorrow, we said that we were going to jump into some of our more, shall we say, fun things that Scott and I are going to talk about. Because Scott actually did make a music video, a very good music video, when he was in quarantine time. But also, Scott shot, and there's actually this great picture that we have of Scott that we'll probably find at some point, where he was helping with the Coming Home music video for Matt Carney. We're going to talk about that and Scott's actual ability to make cool stuff. That's on the show tomorrow, actually, because we were able to put together quite a big show for you today. With that NCAA Board of Governors meeting, I know a lot of people are kind of wondering, waiting what's going to happen. I wish I had the answers to those questions here in the 1 o'clock hour, but it will determine a lot of what the fall sport landscape is going to look like. When we have the information, we'll give it to you, and we'll break it down, I'm sure, on the show tomorrow. Elsewhere, Kelly Graves. So last night, you might have seen it. He posted it on his Twitter, @GoDucksKG. The Oregon women's basketball head coach threw out the first pitch virtually for the Mariners game. We actually have the video for you because it was pretty awesome. And if you didn't see it, you should find it. Those of you listening on the radio, you can find Kelly Graves, again, on Twitter @GoDucksKG. He actually threw out the first pitch to Jody Berry, assistant coach. And, I thought it was a strike. I think we'll find out together here.
Hi, my name's Kelly Graves. I'm the head women's basketball coach at the University of Oregon. I got with me my assistant coach, Jody Berry, a Seattle native, and we're both huge Mariner fans.
All right, so they're in Matthew Knight Arena, for those of you on the radio. And I think Coach Graves threw a great strike, courtesy Root Sports for this, too.
Wish the Mariners the best this year. Go Mariners!
Go Ends.
And Coach Graves, of course, with the Go Mariners while flashing the O. That was I don't know how you do that and what happened. But anyway, thanks to Root Sports for the video and from Kelly Graves on Twitter. So Jody Berry stood up just a little bit to make the catch. I thought it was a perfect strike. We're going to have to talk to Coach Graves about that coming up. And speaking of which, Coach Graves is going to be our first interview that we will do virtually on the show. So rather than normally me turning and shaking the hand of somebody sitting in this really comfortable chair that we spent obviously thousands of dollars on to get a really comfortable chair for the guests, obviously, right? Thousands of dollars. Well, Richard is still here, by the way, everybody, our mannequin that's swagged out from the Duck store. We won't actually have anybody sitting in the studio as we adhere to social distancing guidelines. Everybody's going to be talking to us virtually through this TV over here to my left, live from the Country Financial Studio. So this is going to be an experiment. Everybody bear with us. We'll see if we mess it up. Kelly Graves joins us next. This is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. More coming up inside the Country Financial Studio after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield IMG College.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter, Brooklyn, was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union, live inside the Country Financial Studio. Our guest is a winner. There's no doubt about that. It's Kelly Graves, ladies and gentlemen. Kelly Graves, head coach, Oregon women's basketball, joins us. Coach, you're actually our first guest whose face is filling up the entire TV screen over to my left. You look great. You never looked better, sir.
Well, when you say filling up the screen, does that mean got a fat face? I know I've gained a few pounds, but nobody's ever actually been so blunt as to say it right out front. But
I guess
up yours too, Joey Mack.
I was going to say, I guess I walked right into that one, didn't I? No, Coach, you look great. This is awesome. Thanks for doing this. Hey, first I got to say, well done on the first pitch for the Mariners last night. Well done, sir. Tell us a little bit about how that came to fruition.
Well, first of all, I agree with you. I thought it was a strike. I mean, Jody, stood up, right, to catch it. She didn't have to, and she's only 5'4", so it's not like, it was that high. But no, they asked me a while ago. They sent me a Mariner mask. They sent me a baseball cap, and they know that I've been a Mariner fan for a long time. I've actually thrown out the first pitch in what was the old Safeco field. I don't know what it is now, but anyway, yeah, it was pretty cool. That's always an honor, I think.
Yeah, that's a cool deal. I thought that was great. So we start with that. I know you're a big baseball fan. It must be fun for you to sit and watch baseball. I got a pro duck in Cole Irvin coming up on the show a little bit later today. We're talking with him. It must be fun to be able to watch some sports again, huh, Coach?
Well, it is. Unfortunately, there's so much WNBA action that I'm interested in, and then NBA action that baseball's been kind of put on, and even golf. I've enjoyed watching some golf. Baseball, even though it is one of my favorite sports, has kind of been put on the back burner, I hate to say. I do try to catch the Mariners and the Dodgers when I can. Yeah, there's just way too much going on right now on TV.
Yeah, that's true, which is a good problem to have. We have live sports again. We're all very excited about this. There's no doubt about it. Hey, you mentioned the WNBA coach. I mean, I haven't gotten a chance to ask you on the air yet, and you got to just have so much pride for what your products have done in the WNBA already. It's in such a quick fashion.
Well, no question about it. They've already made an impact, aside from Sabrina's injury, which, we're all praying for to get better. I don't know what the rest of the season holds for her, quite frankly. I've talked to her, her head coach, the general manager, and, it just remains to be seen what's going to happen there. But before her injury, Sabrina was just killing it. Satu has been really strong so far. Just playing within herself. She's going to have those big games like she already had the other night, 23 and 17. I gave her a hard time. I said, Satu, you never got 17 rebounds for us. What's the deal here? But she had a good point. A lot of those were offensive rebounds, and we didn't miss many shots when we were playing. So she had pretty good reason there. And then I think Ruthie, given the minutes she's playing, I think she's been very productive. Like the other night, I think she played 7 or 8 minutes and got 6 rebounds and a couple of baskets. And, she's on a much better team and a team with a lot of veteran post play. But so she's just got to keep working hard and earn her time. So proud of all 3 of them.
Kelly Graves, our guest, head coach, Oregon women's basketball coach. We knew that there was star power on this team. You talked about it with this group of players, and just how much extra star power do you have now that you can talk about in recruiting, just the growth of the program? I mean, now that you have stars in the WNBA making immediate impact, I mean, just how much does that bring the program here at Oregon to the next level?
Well, I think it validates what we're trying to do. I mean, we're trying to get pros. That's who we're trying to recruit, players that want to be, in the WNBA and have the talent to do so. And quite frankly, that's what we're recruiting. The group, we've been working out with our team in small groups, socially distant, et cetera. We're doing all the protocols that we're supposed to. And I'll be honest with you, 13 players that we have on next year's roster, we've never had more talent in that gymnasium ever, and that now, it's still unproven, but as far as talent goes and ability, it's never been better. So now we just got to hope that they develop and work hard and work well together and develop the same kind of cohesive group that we've had in the past. I anticipate we will, but we got some work to do.
Well, a couple follow-ups there, Coach. I think a lot of fans are wondering just how do you go about working out and practicing with everything that's going on? Obviously, this has changed a lot. You guys were really sort of the first to really feel how much this virus has affected the world. Just what's it been like? How have you been able to go about coaching and still trying to do your job out here?
It's funny. We haven't – it hasn't been a lot different than it would have been normally. We brought our players in mid-July, which is what we would have done anyway. There's 3 summer sessions. The second one started in the 3rd week of July. That's about when we would have brought them back anyway. I'm not a huge fan, even though we're allowed by NCAA rules to have practice. I'm not a huge fan of doing that in the summer. You get enough time in the fall and winter to do that. So we would really work on the fundamentals and individual skill development. The only difference is we can't go live. We can't go one-on-one. They kind of have to stay separated. We can only have 2 or 3 at a basket. And they're wearing masks, as are we. And after the first week where everybody kind of complained, this week's been and last week have been completely different. Nobody's really complaining. It's just the new normal. This is what we've got to do. And so really it doesn't seem a whole lot different than it did before. So, so far, so good. I just pray that our kids make good decisions outside of Matthew Knight Arena. Sure. I know that inside that so-called bubble, they're doing fine. But it's, it's out elsewhere that I really, am concerned. And I would admonish all our fans, if they want sports back, it's not just up to the players and coaches. It's up to the fans. They're the ones that have to, sacrifice and wear a mask and stay socially distanced and stay safe, because we're not going to get to play based on what we're doing and our numbers. We're going to get to play if outside, the people outside our so-called athletic bubble are taking care of business. It's up to all our fans.
Yeah, I agree. Well said, Coach Graves. I think that we have this recorded. We're just going to take that, and maybe once a day we'll just play that on a loop. I think that's what we need right now, right? Is to be able to get back to sports. I agree.
Well, Joey, I just don't get it, and being part of a team, and I consider all of us part of the same team, all Duck Nation, all our fans, we're all part of the same team. And to play on my team, you've got to sacrifice. I mean, everybody, I've got 7 freshmen, including Niara and Sedona. 6 of those 7 were McDonald's All-Americans. So these are the best of the best. Well, guess what? They're all not, it's not a democracy once you're on our team. Not everybody gets to shoot. Not everybody gets all the rebounds or assists. Everybody's got to share, and everybody's got to sacrifice a little bit. So it goes with our extended team, our extended family. Everybody's got to sacrifice. So if you want to be part of my team, you better do what's right, or guess what? I don't want you. I don't want your butt. Sorry.
Kelly Graves, head coach, Oregon women's basketball. I love it. One thing that I got to ask you about, Coach, is Taylor Mikesell. Eligible for next season. That's a big boost to your team, isn't it? I mean, over 12 points per game, nearly 42% from 3 over the last 2 years at Maryland. Pretty good boost, huh?
In 3 short weeks, she's already become a legend here on the campus. I mean, we have to sign up now to go in and use the arena,
right,
outside of our scheduled times. She's in there all the time. I mean, it's crazy. She is a complete gym rat. Loves the gym, loves to shoot, and I'm telling you what, she is a terrific player. She's more than just a shooter. Made more than 93s in each of the last 2 seasons, was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year 2 years ago, All-Conference last year, on a Maryland team that was projected a number 1 seed. So it's not like that's some slappy program. But she's an excellent passer. Skill-wise, off the charts. She is so good. But bottom line is she can make threes. Doesn't need a lot of time either. She can do it coming off screens, off the dribble. She's going to be awesome in our pick and roll game. She really is the whole package. And for her to get cleared to play this coming season is huge, because I already mentioned we have 13 players, 9 of whom have never donned a Duck uniform.
Yeah.
So and 7 of them are freshmen, so we don't have a lot of experience, and so now we do. She gives us a proven Division I big time player.
Well, I've touched on it a little bit. How is the roster shaping up? I mean, you seem like you like what you're seeing. There's a lot of talent out there, huh?
A lot of talent, a lot of depth. There's going to be a lot of competition at each and every spot. If you just look at our returners, Jazz Shelley, Taylor Chavez, that's as good a backcourt as you're going to find certainly in the Pac-12. And then you have Erin Bowley, who started for us the last 2 years, and she's only 64-7 as a starter. Lydia Giomi played quality minutes, as Ruthie's backup the last couple years, and she's back. So those 4 are not only proven players, but they're also great leaders, great teammates. So they're going to give us what we need. You throw into that mix now Taylor Mikesell, who's played a couple of seasons. And we have a transfer, Ari Wilson, at 2 years of junior college. So at least she has college experience, and then the rest of them are all freshmen. Now, 2 of those freshmen have been in the program for years. Sedona Prince is going to be one of the best players in the nation as a freshman. Niara Sabali, I think everybody is anticipating her first game with the Ducks. She's been here 2 years and phenomenal player. And then that big time freshman class. So, and we have in that class basically one at every position. So it's going to be fun. The toughest part for me is to determine who's going to play. Right. I mean, I think right now the competition's going to be pretty even in a lot of positions. So, but that in the end will make us better.
You mentioned leadership a little bit, Coach. You had such great leaders on this team and have the last few years. I mean, Sabrina's the one that everybody thinks of, but Satu leads, Ruthie leads, Mignon led. I mean, leadership, I feel like, is maybe a question that some fans have heading into it. It sounds like you've got some leaders, though, that have stepped up over the last few months.
Oh, I think the really great teams are those that have shared leadership. You just don't have one leader or two leaders. Everybody can lead in different situations. And so, I think that's what we've got. I look at somebody like Taylor Chavez, who has a lot of the same intangibles and qualities that Sabrina brought to us, that toughness, that fearlessness, and credibility. I mean, she's obviously a really good player. I think Aaron Bowley is kind of that quiet leader. E.F. Hutton, for you older fans, when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen, right? That old, that commercial. Well, that's Aaron Bowley. Lydia Giomi is just out there. She's one of the sharpest people I have ever, certainly ever coached, but ever met. I mean, she's incredible. And she's the kind of the mother hen. She's going to keep us all together and on point. And, and she'll be there as they all will, that I just talked about, when teammates need help, and they will. Our freshmen are going to get homesick. They're going to be disappointed they're not playing more. Well, you need those players, those upperclassmen, to put their arm around them and say, hey, it's going to be okay. Just keep working hard. You're doing great. And then Jazz Shelley, is now that she made the senior national team in Australia, which is no small feat, by the way. Right. They're only the second best country in the world for basketball. So, she's going to give us also, that leadership. So it's got to be shared. Those are the players along with me and my staff. We can't have a bad practice anytime this year.
Kelly Graves, head coach, Oregon women's basketball. Coach, great to catch up with you. We'll do it again soon, and I look forward to the day where you can actually walk down the hallway again and just holler at us whenever you want to come into the studio, all right?
Yeah, well, it'll be here soon. Let's just all keep doing our part, and it'll be here before we know it. We got to stay vigilant, though, big guy.
Good stuff. Kelly Graves, head coach, Oregon women's basketball. Thanks for the time. We'll do it again sometime.
Okay. See ya.
All right. When we come back, more Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studio. Stick with us on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar presents an original that's now maybe even better. Humpty Dumpty.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a delicious Mountain Dew Zero Sugar with the same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. And all the king's horses, all the king's men couldn't get Humpty to try a different zero sugar soda again.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. As good as the original, maybe even better.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart savings strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions, don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Joey Mack welcoming you back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We went through a little bit of the big-time pro Ducks schedule. This week's Toyota Women's Sports Schedule Spotlight is all about the Pro Ducks. So just to refresh you, after talking with Coach Graves, the Pro Ducks today, this afternoon, are going to play against each other. The Dallas Wings and Satu Sabally against the Chicago Sky and Ruthie Hebert. Elsewhere this week, you can watch Sabrina Ionescu's Liberty against the Lynx at 4 o'clock on CBS Sports Network tomorrow. Sabrina, of course, is injured, but you could still see what else is around the supporting cast, I guess I should say, for the Liberty. Also on Thursday, Satu Sabaly's Wings will play at 5 o'clock, and Ruthie Hebert's Sky will play at 7 o'clock, and that one is on ESPN2. We'll talk a little bit more about your Toyota Women's Sports Schedule Spotlight throughout the week. Toyota, let's go places. It's interesting talking about some of the Pro Ducks and going through the schedule. I thought it was funny that Coach Graves mentioned that, it's so funny that we didn't have any live sports for a long time. Then everything came back, and now, normally you don't have like baseball, hockey, basketball, soccer, all on the same day. Now you do. It's impossible to be able to watch everything. Golf this weekend as well. It really is impossible to be able to keep up with everything. So
went from 0 to 60 pretty quick.
That's right. It did. It really did. And I hope that continues. I think we can all agree that as sports fans, we hope that continues. Today's show also brought to you by Shadow Hills Country Club, your family resort just minutes from home. Call for a tour today. One of the things I wanted to do on today's show was talk a little bit about not only the Oregon football schedule, but the schedule for the really entire college football landscape. Now, it's going to be a little bit odd as we get into the month of September, because remember, each conference has their own different plan. And so you talk about going 0 to 60. I feel like college football, the week of September 26th, if everything stays on track, is going to feel like it went from 0 to 60, because that's when a lot of conferences are starting games, including the Pac-12. University of Oregon playing Colorado that weekend on the 26th. So it's going to go 0 to 60 quickly, but I will echo again what Coach Graves said, that all got to do our part, that's for sure. Keep everybody safe, and I hope that everybody does stay safe out there. There might be, though, some games around college football as early as August, the last week of August, last few days of August, if everything continues on the track that it's on. I'm really curious to see how the different conferences handle it. And I think that college football fans in general will be pretty darn excited about really whatever the 0 to 60 looks like. You know what? I'd take 0 to 10. I'd take 0 to 5.
I'd take anything but 0.
That's right. Anything but 0, and we can do our part to make that happen. Coming up, we've got another Pro Ducks interview for you. Stick with us. One of the best interviews, actually, that we've had over the years on Duck Insider. And I say that in part because he could do my job without question. In fact, he co-hosted a couple Duck Insiders with me when he was still a student at the University of Oregon. This is Cole Irvin, Oregon baseball alum and Philadelphia Phillies pitcher, a Pro Duck, one of a few in the major leagues right now. We're hoping to talk with a lot of them on Duck Insider here moving forward. So stick with us as Cole Irvin will join us virtually in the Country Financial Studio as we continue with Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union, next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Welcome back for another episode of ASMR with Alex. Today, we're exploring the delicious, refreshing sounds of Pepsi. Oh, spilled a little there, but don't worry, it's all under control. Now for the best part. Pepsi. That's what I like. Nailed it. My subscriber is gonna love this one.
Locally owned Bigfoot Beverages is proud to support the Oregon Ducks. Go Ducks. Drink Pepsi.
This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see? Every moment can be kind of special. But they can be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments. It doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hello, it's me, the designer jeans in the back of your closet. What happened to us? I used to summer in the Hamptons, and now I'm stuck behind a pair of sweats. Okay, maybe I never really fit you right, but I got a lot more Sunday fun days left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union here in the Country Financial Studio. Joey Mack here, and it's my pleasure to welcome via Zoom and all the way from across the country, Cole Irvin is here. Pro Duck, well done. Cole, it is so good to see you, my friend. Let's start with the obvious. You've got your Bowerman track shirt on. You busted that out just for us today?
Absolutely. I travel with this. This is like the in-house kind of like hoodie that I wear. But I travel with it like every year. I've had it with me. So I got it back in Eugene when I was going to school. So it's been with me for a while now.
I love it. All right. Let's start with some of the basics on Cole. Made his major league debut last year, pitching for the Phillies. Let's first, though, talk about maybe the most important news that I haven't gotten a chance to congratulate you on yet. You got engaged in December, didn't you, my friend?
I did. I got engaged to my beautiful fiance, Kristen, and we couldn't be happier right now. We're kind of thankful COVID happened because it allowed the process to kind of maybe decide on some things to lengthen a little bit. So we're taking our time and enjoying it. So no date set yet.
Well, congratulations, though. That's outstanding. And I got to tell you, Cole, the long engagement is the way to go. My wife and I did it. I think we were engaged from, I'm bad at math, I'm going to say about 18 months, and it was the way to do it. I'm telling you. It was the way to do it.
Good. That's good to hear because that's kind of what we're planning.
Yeah, I like it. All right, well, you mentioned COVID-19 and how it's changed everything, Cole. Obvious question here. What's it like playing baseball professionally with this pandemic going on? No fans. I mean, it's weird, right?
Yeah, I mean, the crowd noise they pump into the stadiums is like it's like a white noise because they don't pump it loud enough, and it's like it's a video game audio.
Yep.
So it's supposed to be kind of a white noise in a game anyway. So that's kind of weird. I feel like there's some tweaks they could do there. But I mean, I think the game's the same. You know, that's the interesting part is that, you know, when we were in New York last night, unfortunately we came up with the loss, but you know, home runs would happen, the lights would flicker in Yankee Stadium, you know, like their LED lights do. You know, even just shagging in right field with Kyle Garlick.
Yeah.
You know, he and I were just having a blast out there. We're in Yankee Stadium and got to experience that together for the first time. So that was unique and really cool. So I think the emotions are kind of like balanced. There's just so much weirdness to it, but you're back doing what you normally do and you know how to do, and that there's some sense of normalcy to it.
When you're on the mound, do you hear the fans? I mean, in a big time ballpark, and I know like the Pac-12 example here is like Cal's fans, as you remember, Cole, they like to get on you, right? But not every stadium's that way. In the majors, I mean, does it allow you to just kind of get back to baseball? You're kind of just zoned in so much because there aren't any fans that you have to listen to anymore.
Yeah, you can hear the other dugout though.
True.
So it's funny because it's like the fans, when they're in the seats, overcrowd any other noise that happens on the field. Mm-hmm. Like the I got it's in the outfield, you can't hear when you're on the mound because the fans are, you know, roaring. Now, when I'm on the mound right now, you don't hear anything but your own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, that's scary.
And that's what we already know is not a good idea. So
That's great. Cole Irvin joining us from the Phillies. Thanks for taking the time, Cole. Pro Duck with us. You mentioned Carl, if you will, Kyle Garlick. That was his nickname. I actually don't know the full story of how he got the nickname Carl. Maybe you know it, Cole, but what's it like having another Pro Duck on the same roster with you right now?
It's awesome. It's awesome. And then we got Clevenger's on our roster as well. He hasn't been up with us yet, but gosh, it's awesome to have, former Ducks and guys, and we were reminiscing on Duck stories actually, 3 days ago or something like that, just talking about things we used to do together as a team, and it's just fun, because you get to share those moments with a former teammate. Unfortunately, he didn't get to finish out his career as a Duck, but he was a Duck for 4 years or however long he was there.
Old man Garlick.
Oh, good old Carl.
Kyle Garlick up with the Phillies right now. Spent a lot of years within the Dodgers system, and now with Cole on the Phillies. Remind fans, Cole, if you could, your path to the majors, and tell us a little bit about what minor league baseball was like.
Well, I would say this. If you're looking for a traditional minor league baseball story, you're probably not going to get it from me, because I feel like any moments that I could have had to experience something in the minor leagues, I was already at the next level.
Yep.
The Phillies really advanced me really quick. So, I was only in the minors, I think, 3.5 years. So that's not very long in baseball terms. So I'm very thankful and lucky for that. But first, you enter pro ball and you're playing short season, and you got teammates that, are catching you that don't speak English, and you got to find a way to communicate. So that's the first barrier that you come across right away. And it's not a bad thing. It's just a barrier that you got to figure out how to get over. And then, so that was my first real taste, and bus trips, and my first bus trip. Time out. This is a story. My first bus trip, I'm sitting in the back of the bus. We got a boombox going. I'm not going to specify what kind of music was on there, because I didn't know. It was one bus. The coaches are on the front, the players are in the back, and we're doubled up. Like, our short season roster was like our second summer league team. So like, we could have as many guys on our roster as possible.
Right.
So we were basically sardines, like, just in a bus. Like, it was bad. Like, I took myself on the floor to sleep on the floor. So I was sleeping on the bus floor, and all of a sudden our bus veers into the valley in between the highway roads. So you get the highways, it goes into the valley. I'm not kidding you. I woke up, and as soon as I woke up, we were on two wheels leaning on one side. And we swerved back up onto the highway. We were okay. But this is my first bus trip. We were not even an hour into the trip.
So,
not even an hour into the trip. And so we get out, and I'm like, what the heck just happened?
So welcome to baseball.
Our right rear view mirror on the bus was completely gone. And apparently a big rig who started changing lanes didn't see us. And that's how we ended up in the roadside ditch. So more of the story, cut cable and get DirecTV.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Cole Irvin. We're chuckling about it now, but that had to scare you a little bit.
Oh my God. My heart was pounding.
Yeah. I can only imagine.
I got scared of bus trips that whole rest of the year, and now I can't sit in the back of the bus. I got to be kind of middle or the front.
Okay, makes sense. Cole Irvin joining us. Cole, take us back to last year. I haven't asked you about this, at least on the air. What was it like making your major league debut? I mean, that's so much work paying off. Cole, you said the Phillies advanced you quickly, but that's also because you deserved it. You worked really hard to get there. I mean, what was that like for you?
There's so many emotions. I think mostly it's just joy and happiness, because my mother was there, Mother's Day. My dad was there, my brother was there, my fiance was there, girlfriend at the time, but I knew I was going to propose in the off season at that point. So like I was pretty confident. I don't know if she was, but the thing is, like, there was just so much joy. But the thing was, it was funny because I was talking to Sean Rodriguez, and I told him after I came out of my inning, or out of my outing, seven innings in, and I was like, I haven't looked into the third deck yet. And he goes, what? You haven't looked up yet? I was like, no, I just don't want to get overwhelmed by like the size, because Kauffman Stadium is huge.
It's big.
It's huge, and like the third deck there goes back a mile.
Yeah.
And so I basically was just like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on what I need to do today, and then when I'm done, I'm looking up. So I looked up. I'm like, holy cow, this is massive. So after that, I was able to look at every third deck, and we were good.
That's great.
But it was really cool because I was trying to just take care of business that day.
Yeah, I know it was special on Mother's Day, Cole, but I have to imagine that it was really special too, just because you dealt with a lot of injury and adversity in your career. I mean, just how nice is it now to be able to say the rehab and just all the time it was worth it, right? I mean, it had to feel pretty
good. Absolutely, it's worth it. And you go through some extreme lows to get to where you have those extreme highs, and that's definitely what a major league debut is an extreme high at the most extreme level.
Sure.
And so I'm very thankful that I got that opportunity with the Phillies. So
did you dress up like a cowboy pregame for that one like you used to your last year with the Ducks, or
No. That was funny, though. I love doing that. I might need to start doing that again. There might have been some luck in that.
That's right. You had a pretty darn good final year. Speaking of that, you mentioned you were reminiscing with Carl about some of your favorite Duck memories. Do you have some that you think about a lot, Cole, that come to mind, just some favorite memories of your time as a Duck?
Other than Nick Catalano ingraining in me the Go Cubs Go song every day. There's a lot of memories. There's just so many, because the teams were always fun. The guys were always great, as you know. And, the coaching staff, was just the best. Like we had it all. And despite not, making it over that super regional hump, it was still, memories that will last a lifetime. And that's kind of what baseball always provides is those memories and those shared experiences. But, I still talk to Packard. I still talk to Catalano. I still talk to, I was talking to Balta the other day. And so, I feel like I'm really connected. I talk to Daryl Hunter almost like twice a month. So it's really fun to just stay connected with all the guys and have those solid relationships. And there's a lot of stories that I wish I could share, but I'm not going to.
I understand.
So, but that's the good thing. That's the positive. Like, there's just so many good stories. There's so much positivity, and I haven't dwelled on much of the injury part of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cole Irvin joining us, Pro Duck, one of a few, and that's actually my last question for you, Cole. Just how much pride do you have now that there's a number of Pro Ducks, with more on the way from Oregon baseball? We're into that era now where there's a lot of Oregon baseball alums in the big leagues. Just how much pride does that give you and everybody else that's in the majors now, and those that are on their way?
Yeah, no, it's exciting because that when I think we were in the 9th year or something when I was there of the program, and Tyler Anderson and McGuff were the only two that were really in the big leagues. And it finally, I think the snowball effect for Ducks to be in the big leagues kind of is starting to erupt. And that their snowball is falling more and more. And, you saw Nagosic last year, you saw PD this year. You're seeing just so many quality arms and quality guys, Heineman, get their shot. And so I'm excited. I hope the the team is ready for the next alumni game because I don't think there should be a reason why we can't bring some heat into those alumni games. I know I haven't been there the past few years, but I'm trying to plan to be there this year.
Oh, that's so funny that you bring that up. I was just gonna ask you that. Like, man, are the alums finally gonna get a win in the alumni game? It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And then you're gonna report, oh, what happened to our baseball team? We can't have that. We can't have that. It's the alumni. Like, we should win.
Well, maybe now it'll feel a little bit different because it's, big leaguers are pitching against the lineup, right? I mean, that's
right.
Awesome. Well, Cole, I could talk to you for hours. It is great to catch up with you, buddy. Good luck with the rest of your career. Here's to a very long career in the majors. Congratulations again on the engagement. And finally, great setup, by the way. I mean, you see this? Cole's a gamer. He's got the mic. He's got the headphones. This is probably the best sounding internet interview we've ever done. Well done, Cole Irvin. Well done.
I learned from you. I learned from the best. You and Jerry really taught me well. With all those radio stuff that we did when I was there my last year.
Yep.
So I'm thankful for that opportunity, but I appreciate you having me on, and to everyone listening and watching, go Ducks.
All right. Cole Irvin, Pro Duck. We're going to do a lot of Pro Duck interviews over the next few weeks. Looking forward to it. Up next, we're going to wrap things up on Duck Insider. Stick with us on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you on the Oregon Sports Network. That was great, catching up with Cole Irvin. You know, Cole, I was joking, like he actually, a few times when we were traveling and when we would do the show, many of you maybe remember, we would do the show actually on the road when it was just radio. We would do the show like in my hotel room, basically, kind of a thing, right? So every now and then, I think we did 2-3 times maybe. Cole, if it was a day that he wasn't pitching and he was off, he'd come in and we'd host a show. And he just had fun with it, you know, and you can tell, like, he's just got that natural personality. But he made his major league debut pitching on Mother's Day. His mom was there. He killed it, did great. Now pitching for the Phillies. Been in the bullpen quite a bit for the Phillies here lately. Looking forward to seeing more and more of him and the rest of those pro Ducks in the majors. That's just Really, really cool. Jackson's Food Store is a proud sponsor of the University of Oregon Ducks. Stop by your neighborhood Jackson's for all your game day essentials with everyday specials on game day necessities. You'll be ready for anything the big game brings. Go Ducks. I've been keeping up, too, with the NBA quite a bit, and Dylan Brooks last night was really, really good. Really, really good against New Orleans. Brooks, I think, has just taken a huge step this year. Dylan Brooks, I was talking with one of my buddies about this, that, man, he's just gotten really, really good, and he's just a gamer. Like, that's just a dude that hates losing, and he really commits himself to the scouting report. I've heard Coach Altman say that nobody knew the scouting report better than Dylan Brooks. That's just the way that he operated, and it's been really fun to see not only the restart of sports in general, but to see so many Ducks having so much success. And again, we were talking about it yesterday with the Hall of Fame induction class, right? It's going to get harder and harder to induct these guys and these athletes. I mean, it's going to be some tough decisions that are made if you're going to be, the quote-unquote first ballot Hall of Famer, if you will. That's going to be a weird deal. Duck Insider brought to you by North Fork Public House, voted Eugene's best new restaurant. Eat, drink, explore. Talking about the schedule, too, the Big 12 currently has a list of games on August 29th, and they're all TBD, time, TV, all that stuff. But the fact that those games are even listed, it's a good sign. That's what we're talking about. College football could go from 0 to 60 in a matter of minutes. But it also brings me to the fact that picks will return. Jerry and Jorgie, I'm coming for you. Because you know who won last year?
Did you win last year, Joey?
I did.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that.
I might have been the winner last year. I feel like this time around, I know last year or this past year we did a guest picker almost every week. I think we need to have Scott Phillips do it regularly.
I think I should be in there.
I think that that is the next logical step.
I think my record last year, proving Jorgie wrong, I deserve to
win. Proving Jorgie wrong is good. That's always a good sign. I often joked Terry does the pregame.
Yep.
So maybe Terry should do picks with us too, but Terry doesn't usually come in on Fridays. He's setting up broadcast stuff, and I don't know.
Maybe I can consult with Terry and we could do it together.
That would be interesting. Terry could give his picks remotely, and then you could. Yeah, I could be down for that. I think. All right. Okay. So come September, we'll have a new person for picks, and watch. The guy that knows the least about football will be the one that keeps winning. Me.
Joey Mack.
That's right. Hey, this was great, everybody. Thanks for being with us today. Another Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union in the books. He's Scott Phillips, John Essick back in the radio studio. My thanks to Kelly Graves, Cole Irvin. Maybe talking with Satu Sabali tomorrow. See you then.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.